Guys, it's Sarah and today is BookList Thursday. This is a video series I do with my friend Lindsay over at Lindsay's Little Library. And every Thursday we bring you some sort of list or book topic that we feel like talking about for the week. And it's the last Thursday in December. Can you believe it? I can't, this year has gone by fast. And also January, February feel like a really long time ago. It's been an interesting year. I'll say that. But at the beginning of this year, Lindsay and I picked 5 books from our Book of the Month shelves that we wanted to read this year and said that we would do a follow-up at the end of the year and let you know what we thought of those books. Mine's interesting. Okay, so the first one I want to talk about is the first one that I read, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by B.E. Schwab. Obviously, this is not a Book of the Month edition. I did read from my Book of the Month edition, but I passed it on to a friend because I got this special edition one. Oh, that is not even available anymore, so I'm really glad I grabbed it. But yeah, so this is one of my favorite books of the year. So I'm going to say that. It was beautiful. It was one of the best written books I've ever read. I was completely immersed the entire time. I cared about these characters. I thought the magic was so interesting, and I fell in love with Addie. I really did. She got a bad deal, man, but I thought it was so beautiful. And B.E. Schwab took, I think she said 10 years to write this book, and I can tell. I can tell that she took her time with it and that she really made everything intentional in this book. Like every detail has intention behind it, and I love that. And it seems like something she really put her heart and soul into, and I absolutely loved it. If you have not heard about what this is about, Addie LaRue is a young girl who is set to get married. It's actually her wedding day. She does not want to get married. She's living in France. And she runs away into the woods in her wedding dress and runs into a spirit, if you will, and makes a deal with him that she can get away from her current situation. She doesn't want to be in it anymore. And he says, I can help you. Let's make a deal. And she says, done, whatever, it's fine. I just want to get out of here. And she doesn't really know what she's getting herself into because upon making this deal, she does not have to get married anymore. However, nobody that she comes into contact with will remember her. The second they turn away from her or leave her presence even for a minute, when they come back in contact with her, they don't remember who she is. And it's like that for her entire rest of her immortal life. She now can live forever, and that's how her life is. And you go back and forth between a present timeline, which is in late 2000s, and the past timeline when she makes this deal, and then it kind of skips through a little bit of time, and you kind of see how she progresses and things that she's going through and places that she's living, because she kind of bebops around because she has that freedom to do that. No one remembers her anyway. So you kind of see how she makes some adjustments and deals with it, basically, and learns to live this way. And man. And then in the more present timeline, you see her meet a man who does remember her. And it's just, everything about this book was so beautiful. Can't recommend it highly enough. Okay, the next one that I picked up was A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. And this one is a fantasy book that follows a young girl who is going to this magical school, and this school literally tries to kill the students. I'm not kidding. It's very dangerous to go to this school, but it's something that's required. They don't have a choice. They have to learn how to protect themselves and to survive in this type of environment, because that's how the real world is out there. And you see her being a little bit of a loner. She doesn't have a whole lot of friends. And you see her basically being forced to trust people throughout this process. And I DNF'd it. I didn't like it at all. This one really had the potential for me to love it because magical school, dangerous situations, girl that needs to prove herself. Hello. Those are buzzwords for me big time. I could not get behind this one. I had such a hard time following it, to be honest with you. I didn't understand why the school was there. I didn't understand why things were so dangerous. I kept going, but why? But why? but why? Like constantly, there was no explanation for it. So I didn't get that kind of world building that I really needed to understand this whole world that I'm being thrown into. And the way that the author would write some of the sentences was like, we should have this background knowledge already, but we don't, because you never said that. And a couple of times I found myself going, and like there was some sort of explanation for it. And it was like, oh yeah, because of this. I'm like, well, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. It was like we were supposed to already know some things about this made up world. No. So I really had a hard time with it, to the point where I said, I'm just really not enjoying this. So I put it down. I didn't even make it halfway through. I think I made it like a quarter of the way through the book, and I just was not enjoying it. So I put it down, and that was that. Okay, the next one is One to Watch by Kate Stayman London. I listened to this on audio and I loved it. I loved this book. I gave it 5 stars. It was just such a good time. And I think this was something that it was the right time for me to read it. I really just wanted something fun and quick and easy. And that's exactly what this was. So this is set on a reality TV show. We follow our main character. Her name is Bee. She is a fashion blogger living in Los Angeles. She's also plus size, and she kind of has a little bit of a following. However, she does this thing with her best friend one night where they watch a reality show, like kind of a bachelor type reality show called Main Squeeze. And she live tweets while drinking about this show and talks about her reactions to the people and the conditions and what's happening. And she makes some pretty bold statements about the fact that there's no plus size representation on these shows, and she doesn't think that's right. Now, because of that, she got a lot of attention because of it. So everyone's talking about her reactions to these things and bringing up this conversation. So she's getting some attention. She ends up getting offered to be the next contestant on that show, and like her competing in a bachelorette type thing where 25 men are going to come and try to date her. And she hesitates, but then she ends up doing it. She's like, you know what, this could be a really good opportunity. I'm going to go. I'm not going to fall in love. I'm not going to find someone. It's fine. No one ever does. No one ever stays together anyway. And let's go and do this and make a statement, and maybe some change will come out of it. So she does. And you see her meet these men. You see how some of the men react to her. And you see people actually wanting to be with her. Whoa, like what a concept, right? And, she's not going to fall in love. Okay, but let me say, there were some twists and turns in here that I didn't see coming that I really enjoyed. Very drama, like popcorn drama for sure on this one, but I loved it. I had a great time, and that's what's important. So I thought it was really good. Now, there are polarizing opinions on this one, including Lindsay. Lindsay and I do not agree on this one. And I guess it's just what you take out of it. So she has some different opinions. So, definitely make sure you go watch Lindsay, because she's talking about this one today too. We actually buddy read it together. So yeah, it was good. So even though I really liked it, I can definitely understand Lindsay's points that she's making as well. So there's that. Okay, let's get to the bad news. Legendborn by Tracy Dion. I'm DNFing this for now. I don't think it's the right time for me to read this. I picked it up right after One to Watch. I was like, okay, I'm going to push through these last ones. And I just could not get into this. I got 70, I still have my bookmark in here, 80 pages in. I got 80 pages in. So there's a few factors here. Okay, so this is a fantasy. It's a young adult, and this one follows a young girl. Her name is Bree, and she had recently lost her mother. So she's still kind of grieving from that. She is in high school. She gets this opportunity to go to a university in North Carolina where she can do like a college program, but she's still in high school type thing. It's like a whole program thing, and it's a big deal if you get in. So she ends up getting in and takes this as a perfect opportunity to kind of get away from everything and just kind of, not be surrounded by all the memories, right? So she goes. one of her first nights there, she goes to a party and she witnesses magic happening at this party. She's not supposed to see it, but she does. And it's something that she can see it for a certain reason. And it starts going into explanations from there. I can't even fully describe exactly why, because I didn't get that far. But this does have like a Knights of the Round Table Arthurian folklore in here as well. So it's kind of based on that, which is cool. Okay. Why did I put it down? Number one, I wasn't in the mood for fantasy books. I was in the mood for thrillers and contemporary. That's what I wanted to read. So I wasn't in the mood for fantasy, and then I try to force myself to read a fantasy book. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, I was having a hard time with Bree. I was having a hard time with her easy acceptance of magic in our world. So this isn't some made up world where there's magic there and she just realizes it or, whatever. No, like she lives in North Carolina. So it's our world, but then like magical things are coming out of the air and that's fine. Like you're not freaking out, because she wasn't really freaking out. And I think that's what I wanted. It was a very easy acceptance. And sometimes I have a hard time with that. In this case, I had a hard time with it. And it also got to a point where she's learning about this stuff, but she's having conversations with people like she's known about it all along. And she's using this language that's almost completely made up. These are words that are not words. And she's using them in everyday, like talking with them like, oh yeah, well, what if, can this do this? And can this happen? And can this, like, you don't even know what you're talking about. Like, you have no idea what's actually going on. And she's having a conversation like she does. So I don't know. That bothered me. Am I being picky? Maybe. And that's probably a good sign for me that I need to put it down for now. I don't want to unhaul it. I do want to get back to it at some point, but for right now, it wasn't working for me. And I know that if I force myself through it, it's just not going to work overall and I'm not going to enjoy it. So it is a soft DNF, quoting my friend Audrey from Chapter and Converse, a soft DNF. So it's a DNF for now, but I will go back to it at some point. And then we have These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. And I didn't even pick this one up, guys. And again, I'm not in the mood for it. I'm not in the mood for it. This takes place in the 1920s in Shanghai, and it is a Romeo and Juliet inspired story between two rival gangs. And I believe the two leaders fall in love, which is not okay. So yeah, I'm not in the mood for it. And I didn't want to force myself. Again, same thing with Legend Board. I didn't want to force myself to do it. So it's going back on my shelves. I am still very interested in reading this at some point. Just now is not the best time. Yeah. So I didn't do my homework. Very sorry, Lindsay. We had some interesting conversations about it. But yeah, I don't know. And it's funny because, we talked about it at the beginning of the year thinking, oh, it's only 5 books. We'll get to them. And I forgot about it. I did. 2 of them I did read early on, and then I completely forgot about it. And then towards the end of the year, I was like, oh, we said we were going to do this. And so they went on my list to read for the end of the year, and I got to one of them. But the other 2, I'm not in the mood. So that's just going to be what it is for now. Lindsay 1, Sarah 0. It's fine. Okay, guys, that's going to be it for me today. Please make sure you go check out Lindsay and see all 5 books because she read all 5 books. She wins this one. But go see what she was reading and what her thoughts were on them, especially one to watch. And we will see you guys again, oh gosh, in January. Ugh, it's crazy. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.